Well, hello. Welcome to another one of our Q&As, number 123. Can you believe it? Thanks so much for answering your questions, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. And we'll go ahead and get started. I forgot what I was going to say to you guys. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with Kay Carter.
How many brothers and sisters do you have? Each one has such different personalities, don't they? What fun. Judy is a dancer and comedian.
So true. Yeah. I have 8 brothers and 7 sisters. 7 counting me. So I guess 6 sisters.
And 2 deceased.
And 2 deceased. 2 little boys that died shortly after they were born. And they do each have different personalities. We've got some redheads, some couple of blondes, couple of dark heads, some with freckles, some with tan skin, and some that are just melancholy, quiet, some that are just silly nuts that just always talking. And it's interesting. My 3 oldest brothers and the 3 youngest brothers, they have pretty much similar personalities. Like the oldest brother on the first set of 3 is like the second oldest brother in the second set of 3s. And then the middle brothers are both kind of silly talkers, and then the third ones are quiet. So that is true. What about yours? Your siblings?
I only have 2 of them. My 2 sisters, and they are the same. They get along just
Yeah, they
fine.
get along good, yeah. Yeah, you guys don't know much about Papa O's sisters because they're over in Norway. Okay, Peachum, do you want to read that one?
Question. How are you guys related to Jody Orgill Smith? She lives in our Riverdale community.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up in our genealogy and see.
Well, do you know what Riverdale community is?
No,
I don't
you?
either.
Oh.
What country or what state or
Well,
what city are you in?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But we had an Orgill reunion, I don't know, quite a few years ago, to try and figure out how we were related to all these Orgills that we always hear about, but we don't know them. And so we had this reunion, and one of the cousins or relatives said that there were 2 Orgill brothers that came over here from somewhere, and correct me if I'm wrong.
From Derbyshire, England.
Yeah, and they didn't like each other. They were fighting, and so one took on the name Orgill and one took on the name Argyle, and apparently we're related to Argyles too, Argyle, and since they fought, we just don't know each other. We don't know any of the Orgills, so we could very easily be
Actually,
related.
the Argyles settled Australia, because I was in contact with them, and they sent me a lot of their genealogy. So, like any name, the only ones we can talk about knowing them are ones in Utah. And in Utah, all the Orgills are from Draper, Utah.
Yeah,
that's where my grandma and grandpa is.
Yeah.
That's where they settled.
And we visited the cemetery out in Draper once, and we saw a lot of Joseph Orgills out there.
Yeah?
Yeah, they kept carrying that name on and on and on. So, aren't you the 5th Joseph Orgill or something?
Yeah,
That's number 5. Sure. Yeah. But good question. We'll have to do some genealogy and look that up. Okay, Sapphire. Question. How did Davey and April meet? And she's talking about they had a live stream going on where Davey's dyeing her hair pink and she's cutting his hair and they're talking to little E.B. It's cute. Cute little video. But Davey and April met at a country dance. Davey would go out, I think, every Thursday twice a week. And that's how they met. She was a good dancer and Davey was a good dancer, and
they're both really good
really
dancers.
good dancers, yeah. Yeah, so.
And they even did a DVD on how to do line dancing.
Yeah, yeah. There's 2 line dance. Well, line dancing and more
and
advanced
swing step.
Swing step. That's it. Yeah, that's what it is. But that's how they met, and they dated, and then the rest is history. And well, what's interesting is April wasn't LDS, and so they broke up because of that. And then the next thing we knew, she converted. She had talked to the missionaries, the LDS missionaries, and converted and called up and invited us to her baptism. We go, oh, let's go. And then Davey and April started dating again, and then they got sealed in the temple. And so it's a really, really cool story of how they got together. Okay, do you want to read the next one?
Did Johnny buy the house?
Oh, that question was from Sapphire about how did Davey and April meet. And this one's from
3 Bart Boys Plus.
Okay.
Did Johnny buy the house or renting? Is it close to Davey and April? You always have fun videos. Thanks, Momma O.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you. And yes, Johnny's finally buying his home. He's been renting for years and years, and this home is his first home that he's buying. So we're pretty excited about that. And he only lives like 8 minutes from Davey's house and 8 minutes from Michelle's house. They all live within a, I don't know, 8-mile radius. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's very excited about that, and the grandkids all love playing together, so it's nice to have them close. And Johnny's kids could go play at Davey's house, and vice versa, and Rochelle's kids could go play. So it's really nice, really, really nice. Okay, Lisa Vincent.
How far do the kids live from you?
Okay, yeah, Jimmy Joe's the farthest. And he's a 12-hour drive, or an hour and a half flight. And then Julianne's the next farthest. Why is that so hard to say? And she's 2 hours away. And then
all the rest are around.
Amanda is she's 35 minutes, and then Johnny and Davey are about 35 minutes, and Michelle's about 40 minutes. So they're all really close, except for Jimmy Joe.
Oh, look what she says is the action.
Yeah. And then
LOL.
G-formers.
G4 Mertz.
Okay. And what...
She says, wait. Is the Action Lab your son?
Yeah, Action Lab's my son. I'll put a link here to Action Lab. So Jimmy Joe and Davey each have, well, all our kids have blogs except for Julianne and Amanda.
They're not doing blogs.
I mean, what do you call them? YouTubes. Yeah, he's our son. He started, how long? About a year, almost 2 years ago.
He's the one with the PhD.
Yeah.
In engineering, chemical engineering.
And it's funny because Davey had started his channel on superheroes, and it took off, and then YouTube deleted his superheroes, because superheroes were getting way weird for kids, and Davey got caught up in that sweep. And then before that, Jimmy Joe, he says, oh, I can do a YouTube too, and so Davey says, go ahead, get one started. And as a joke, he says, well, I'm gonna search and see what's the highest hit YouTube, and he says there's he's the hydraulic press. He says, oh, hydraulic press is really popular. So I'm just gonna go buy one of those and start squishing things. And he did, and his YouTube channel just started taking off. But then he got bored with that. He thought, I'm a really smart person. I have a PhD, and I don't want to just squish things. He wasn't satisfied with that, and so he switched it to more science things, and they changed it. It used to be called the hydraulic press, I think, and then he changed it to the Action Lab and started doing science things. And he was still squishes a few things now and then, but not so much.
He do simple things with science and then explain what's happening.
Yeah, he liked explaining, and then he's more into science things now. And boy, he reached 1 million subscribers, and And he just loves the challenge, where before with the hydraulic press,
It was limited.
it just wasn't challenging his brain at all. And so that's really fun that he took off with that, and that's how it started with the hydraulic press. And add more of a challenge, just say, oh yeah, I can do this. You just watch, I can get a channel going real easy. And YouTube, it's not easy to do. It's not an easy thing. We've been doing our channel for, I think, 4 years. And I'm happy to be at 4,000 subscribers, 4,000 plus subscribers. But that's, it's not an easy thing to do YouTube, but Jimmy Joe figured it out. And, what do we call him? James. JJ. Yeah, and Davey, his took off, and
James Joseph.
Yeah, James Joseph Orgill. He got the Joseph in there. Okay, and that's all the questions we have. But let's see. We'll go ahead and end with a couple of quotes. Oh, I was gonna. They wanted to hear one of your stories. Are you up to a?
Well, my stories, they're on Amazon.
There's a lot of stories.
I'm a great person for keeping journals and details of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the most exciting ones are around Europe, lots of countries, maybe 20 or 30 different countries,
mm-hmm.
and living in some of those places.
We'll have to pick.
Learning the language.
Pick one story a week or something.
And probably for me, the biggest adventure was my bicycle trip from
mm-hmm.
Salt Lake City, 2,255 to Quebec North, so I could get my French going, learn French.
Well, one story, you were telling me, we were riding in the car today, and Papa O used to live up in Bingham, and he was telling me about how he would climb this bridge.
Train bridges.
A train bridge up in Bingham Canyon.
A steel one between mountains.
And how old were you? Like 16, 12?
I was about, we moved at 16, so I was probably 14 maybe.
14, and you were alone this time, or were you with your brother?
Nobody was ever with me on those.
Oh, so you'd climb the bridge.
I'll
have to see if I can find a picture of what that was like. I think Papa O has a picture I can post.
Well, the train had to come out. It was Kennecott Copper, it's the largest copper mine in the whole world. And to get the ore out of the mountain, sometimes they had to cross between two mountains on a huge bridge. And it was exciting, but...
Well, tell how you climbed it real quick, and then we'll do our closing questions.
Well,
closing quotes.
Okay, the bridge was made as a steel bridge, and I'd say it's at least 100 feet high, and it's between two mountains, and trains would go over it, and then it would go through a mountain in a tunnel to another bridge. And it looked exciting to go up it, so I decided to climb it. Now, there's no clean way to climb it. It's kind of like you see the big utility poles, the giant ones for electricity.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of crisscrossing of bars and stuff. So I climbed that up to it. And the top part...
Is that the tracks? Then when you get to the top?
Almost to the tracks. No, the tracks, they had to build the tracks. You had to get underneath where the tracks were, and there were planks on the steel to actually walk out of it. But when I got to the end of climbing, what I had to do is grab a hold of the planks, and then I would actually dangle over the 100 feet down with my feet down, and then pull myself up to the planks, and then
So you're dangling 100 feet high up.
Yes.
Boy, if your mother had seen that, she would have whooped you.
Well, it was also dangerous when I was 12, and I was a newspaper man in the middle of...
Newspaper boy,
a 4-lane highway at a stoplight.
Well, you were in California this time,
yes.
weren't you? Yeah.
And I had a money changer. You remember the old money changers? You could just make change really quick on your belt. And the cars would go whizzing by really quick, lighted turn. And they would hand me their money.
So you'd stand out in the middle of the road?
Yes, between two lanes, so I could sell it on both sides when the light turned red. And they had their money ready because I was there every day.
And you'd say, paper. What'd you say?
Well, the name of what was what I would yell out was mirror, night, funnel, paper, 5 cents.
5 cents.
It was 5 cents.
And didn't you not sell all of them one time? And so
no, my grandma told me to go out and get a job.
She says, you go out there and you hustle. You're 12 years old.
Because my grandma was kind of the last of the rough pioneers to live in log cabins and stuff. And her husband had died of a heart attack, and so my mom and I...
When she got divorced.
We were in a little trailer behind her house, and all I was doing was burning ants with a magnifying glass.
That was spending your time.
Or finding snakes and trying to keep them.
So your grandma put you to work.
She says, you need to get out and hustle and bustle and find a job.
So you got
And I'm like 10 or 11 years old. And
that's when you got the newspaper job?
Yes. Well, no, I went around to stores and asked for work, and I said, Grandma, they said
I'm too young.
I'm too little. I can't work. She says, well, you can. What about the newspaper job?
Did she tell you to go hustle?
No, her famous words, you have to hustle and bustle. That means hurry and work hard.
Just work hard. And
I did find, so the first time I sold newspapers, I went in a hole because I had little newspaper racks, before they locked up, and people would steal them. They'd put in a penny and take a nickel paper or something. But I just said, I saw the bars where everybody's sitting there, so I decided to go in the bars and sell them, and they let me in, and I started selling them in the bars.
Well, didn't you buy your own newspapers?
The first time I went in the hole on the newspapers.
Says, I'll buy my own.
And so I borrowed some money from my grandma. I said, it didn't turn out so good my first paycheck. I went in the hole because I ordered too many newspapers.
I gotta buy them back. So you knew not to do that. So you're out selling newspapers, 10-year-old boys selling newspapers on the streets of California.
And it's just you figure a 4-lane highway, and they're just zooming by, and they're going right beside me, and the light turns, and they'll just quickly have the money in their hand. I give them a newspaper and take the money and just keep doing it. So.
I think that's when they came out with child labor laws, to not put the kids out in the middle of the road like that. Well, you hustled and bustled. All right, that's fun. Okay, we'll go ahead and close with a couple of quotes.
Well, I could tell him one more.
Uh-oh, he's got another one.
Okay, where the bridge was. In those days...
Okay, we're back in Bingham.
Bingham, where the copper mine is. A rough town where rough people live. A mine, anywhere miners are.
They're rough. How many nationalities were there?
Well, they all lived in like the Swedish section, the Greek section in Bingham. They all lived in their own little area.
Yeah. And the school had all grades. All the grades were there.
From 7th grade to the 12th grade, 600 kids. And
all different nationalities.
And so there's 7th graders walking by. The Mexicans, a third of them couldn't speak English that well because they're right from Mexico, just like it is today. But what I was going to tell you is where the bridge was, that was where we'd go on our hike to the local mountains.
You and your
me
brother?
And the bishop's son and my brother and another kid that had a gun because we all had guns.
Oh, 4 of you.
We got our guns.
Yeah, back then, kids.
No, you walked into a used where they sold used things, and they always had extra guns. And they sold me. Here I am, 13 or 14 years old.
Well, all you kids had guns.
And they're 22s. So I was the only one that didn't have a gun, and I happened to save some money, and I bought a 22 rifle.
So what does a 22 mean?
It just means the bullets are smaller.
It's not very dangerous?
Well, you can't kill a deer with it.
Okay.
You could probably kill a little squirrel.
A little squirrel,
if you can hit it. Or you can aim at a bird and not get anywhere close to it.
Oh, dear.
So
you head up in the mountains, you four, with your guns.
No, and so my buddy was the bishop's son, and he takes his dad's 30-30. It can be a deer gun. It'll bring a deer down.
Okay.
30-06.
So the higher the number, the bigger the bullets.
Yeah. Anyway, so he took his dad's gun without asking him. And so here we are, 4 of us, all with our rifles. And nobody's worried about us. They just say, oh, they're just going on a hike. They're not going to hurt anything. So we were gone all day.
Not today.
And we see some deer in the mountains. and so I go to shoot. Maybe a half a mile. Well, just on the other mountain, but you could see him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to shoot my 22, and he says, "You can't kill a deer with a 22.
Oh.
It'll go that far."
Oh.
But he had his 30-30,
Oh.
and he fired a couple of times, and it just echoed around the hills. It was just echo.
Uh-huh.
So we got down. Hike was over finally after we made the mistake of going through tunnels and trying to shoot lights out, and you'd hear zing, zing when it's hitting rocks. I said, it might bounce back and hit a bad idea.
That's
so it came down,
true.
and there's a new car waiting where my parents usually park their car. And it was the guy that gets poachers.
So he thought
game
you were
reserve.
poachers?
Well, game reserve. Shooting animals on game reserve. He took all our guns.
Oh, dear.
He says, "I'll take those guns."
Because you were shooting a deer on... Well, you
we
don't
were
have a
just
deer...
shooting our guns.
You don't have a... Yeah, I guess you need
And then a week
license.
later, my buddy said, since my dad was principal of a grade school, he got his gun back.
He got his back, but
And
you
I
guys
didn't get
never
mine.
got yours?
And I had done so much work on it, shining it up.
Shined it and saved up your newspaper. No, not newspaper. That's in California. Oh. Well, we'll have to have Papa tell some more stories next time, but we'll go ahead and close with a couple of quotes.
Oh boy, you got to
Don't get him started.
Mind.
No, we'll write them down and save them for next time.
Oh, you can hear the one where I
we only have so much time.
hitchhiked in North Africa with Muslims.
You'll have to say. He's got a lot of stories.
I was in one car
If you want to
where
hear
I got a
them,
ride, and I said, "Why don't you?"
You gotta save it.
Well, I'll just tell him this one here.
Gotta
I
save
said, the map says where I'm going, it'll be easier to go left here. And the guy says to me in French, because I spoke French, I said, "There's a lot of bandits and bad guys up there. They'll usually stop the cars and then just rob you." And I said, let's go the way you were going to go.
So we'll have to continue that next time. Because the average YouTube watcher, only watches about 4 minutes.
Of what?
Of videos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the watch time is 4 minutes. So we gotta, if we're into 22 minutes now here, and they might miss your story. So we'll save that for next time. Okay, let's close with a couple of quotes. You got a quote? Get a quote ready. His mind's off traveling. We got to get him back here to the real world.
I don't want to travel because I have a honey.
No, your mind.
I have a honey right here.
No, your mind's traveling. Your mind's going 90 miles an hour.
No, I can't think. Did I actually do those things?
Okay, I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. That sounds like a song. Together we can do great things.
Oh.
That sounds like you and me. Okay, you give a quote.
Where's the
Your head looks little. Okay, go ahead and do your quote. No, that's too big now.
Okay. Each of us is an innkeeper who decides if there is room for Jesus.
Ooh,
that's good. That's good.
That hits hard. Oh.
No room at the
no room
maybe,
at the
maybe
end.
for a couple hours.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say, I can't believe they wouldn't let her in, but then we do it too. We don't let him in. That's a good one. All right, and thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And thank you. That was a lot of fun. And keep the questions coming. And good night, everybody.
Good night.